welcome to FDTV. We are back again with another episode of our daily football show. I'm your host Ali, joined with my fellow co-host Jawad. Jawad, how are you doing today?
Doing great. And for those of you who come back to our videos regularly, welcome back. And for anyone new, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. And without any further ado, let's get into it.
So, as we know that on 14th of August, the new Premier League season is going to be underway. So this might be a good time to talk about the predictions for the coming season. Before we talk about who is going to win, what are your second, third, and fourth place teams?
Let's start off with number 4. It's a difficult thing to really predict the top 4 of this year's Premier League because a lot of transfers are yet to be finalized. We know that Manchester City has just signed Jack Grealish for over 100 million, and great signing for them, regardless of what everyone else might say. So there are still some more players to be fitting into place. For example, rumors of Chelsea getting a striker. So with that all in mind, I'm going to say that Liverpool finished 4th. And the reason for that is I don't think they have strengthened quite as much as the rest of the teams have. But on paper, they still have a stronger squad compared to last season when they were struggling to get into the top 4. And the reason for that is that they will be welcoming back their main protagonist in defense in the name of Virgil van Dijk. And they managed to finish 3rd last season, a couple of points ahead of Chelsea. But I still feel like the Chelsea has strengthened their squad and they've gone from strength to strength. And having Thomas Tuchel giving him a complete season, I feel like he should be able to get the most out of what the Chelsea squad has to offer. So for that reason, I'm going to say number 4 goes to Liverpool. What's your number 4?
Absolutely. I'm going to go along with your opinion, and I think Liverpool will be the 4th place team this season. Although I want to point out this, the difference between the 2nd, 3rd and 4th team might be very close, might be a margin of about 5 points between the 2nd, 3rd and 4th best team in the Premier League. But Liverpool lost a major player in Wijnaldum this season. He played every single minute of the Premier League campaign last time around, and getting a workhorse out of your midfield and not replacing him might be hurting Liverpool. There's still time in the transfer market and they might sign a new midfielder, but it's highly unlikely. So Wijnaldum loss along with Van Dijk's returning from injury, so it might take him some time to go back to his full strength and become the Van Dijk who was the best defender in the world for 2 straight seasons. So that is why I would go along with your opinion of Liverpool finishing 4th, but it will be very close. So who's your 3rd place team?
You might not like this, but I'm going to put the almighty Manchester United at 3rd place. They have strengthened a lot, but having an aging forward in the likes of Cavani will hurt them. And not having a formidable midfield will hurt them as well. Now I say formidable, and what I mean is their midfield starting 3 are really, really good. But the squad depth isn't quite there. And even their starting players, their mindset is not quite there, namely Paul Pogba. So for that reason, the midfield not being quite strong enough, and obviously Cavani up front cannot handle the workload all by himself, not signing an out-and-out number 9. Now that could change, obviously, with a new number 9 coming in. The transfer market is still going on, so they could end up signing a great center forward, which can help them propel up the table a little bit higher. But judging off what the squad has to offer right now, Varane coming in alongside with Harry Maguire, they should not be letting in many goals. But on the other hand side, you've got a Jadon Sancho who last season played great towards the end of the season, but his start was really, really slow under Borussia Dortmund. So with that in mind, we could be seeing a replication of that. And obviously we've got Solskjaer on the bench, not the best manager tactically, a very, very good man manager, and he should be able to get good enough performances out of the squad. But with that said, again, a clear out and out fresh number 9, a killer number 9 is missing, along with some harmony in midfield, let's just put it that way. So for that reason, I'm going to say Manchester United finished 3rd. I'll be surprised if your number third pick is Manchester United. So who are you going with?
I'm going against all the odds. I'm picking Manchester City to finish third this season by a very slight margin. Even even though most people have them down as a champion, even if they sign Kane, I have this feeling that they might suffer some unexpected losses at the start of the season, and Jack Grealish might not make the impact that is expected of him. So that's why I think Man City will finish third. But I have a solid reason. This season of Premier League will be the closest when it comes to the top four spots that we have ever seen. So that's why I'm putting Man City down at number three. So who's going to win the Premier League?
I would say Manchester City. Surprise, surprise, not going to be Chelsea, even though they ended up signing Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku, I don't think he might be able to perform at the same level. So I'm going to go with Manchester City because here's hoping that before the end of the transfer market, they are going to be able to sign Harry Kane, who for some reason is not showing up to training, promising that he will, and having issues with Daniel Levy. That tells me that he's going to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Gareth Bale, the likes of Luka Modric, and it will be a case where he does not show up training and then ends up leaving. So for that reason, I feel like
Absolutely.
City has strengthened too much, and they're getting Kane up front, they're getting Grealish at the number 10 role, now Phil Foden. Now they might end up losing Bernardo Silva, but they still got enough firepower up front. And then you obviously got the creative magic of Kevin De Bruyne. And De Bruyne being a tremendous talent who did miss some of last season, should be fully fit and should be able to participate for the rest of the campaign and really, really provide what Manchester City was somewhat lacking. Now, keep in mind, Manchester City are a very, very creative team. That's what they're known for. Their football is Pep Guardiola's football, which is very creative. But what they were lacking last season was the finisher. And with Kane coming in, even if Kane doesn't come in, I still feel like they win the Premier League. But if Kane comes in, then there's a lock, right? Because that's the only thing that they were missing is a lethal finisher up front. Kane himself said that Kevin De Bruyne in the team is a dream of a striker. And last season, the pairing at the back is still the same pairing. And I feel like Diaz and Stones are a tremendous talent together. Probably the best centre-back pairing in Premier League. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Manchester City finishing at the top. And now, I feel like Chelsea are going to be the team that finishes second. Who have you got winning Premier League?
I'm going against all the odds and I'm going to follow my heart and my analysis. And I'm going to say that Manchester United are going to be Premier League champions by the end of the season. It will go down to the last couple of weeks. It will be that close. But Manchester United, if I look at their squad, it's not as bad and it's not as shallow as people are talking it to be. They got Lingard, who had a terrific end of the season with West Ham. So he's staying and he's going to fight for his place. You got Andres Pereira, who is just a different player. I've seen him in the preseason and he's looked remarkable. You got McTominay, Fred Van de Beek, who looked terrific in the preseason games and he did make an impact. Also, he was handed a captaincy armband. So Van de Beek might play a big role this season. Along with that, you got Sancho, Varane, and a midfielder might come in and Pogba might stay. So United have a very talented squad, and now that they have solidified their defense, I think it will be very hard for any team on the planet to get United out of the top spot of the Premier League. So that's my reason of United being the champions. Second place is Chelsea, but there is a massive problem for Chelsea. They're not investing the right money on the right player. Lukaku, I don't think he's suited to the Premier League. Doesn't matter how much his goal tally is at the end of the season, he will miss chances. He will go on 2-3 barren runs throughout the season, and he will miss some absolute sitters in big matches. So Lukaku, even though he has been terrific for Inter, I don't think that Lukaku will have an impact for Chelsea. They did not sign Haaland because Dortmund were asking for 200 million, and that is unreasonable. So Lukaku as a second option is not a bad pick, but he's not the striker who's going to win the Premier League for Chelsea. As much as I love Tuchel, I think Guardiola will finish third, Jurgen Klopp will finish fourth, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of all people will take the top spot in the Premier League.